Hello, Jamie Butler,
Hello, Elisa Merhus.
medium and teacher extraordinaire.
Thank you.
How are you, Eric? You're around, I guess, pestering already.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He was telling me not to answer on the first ring to make you sweat a little bit.
Oh my God. If I sweat over things like that, I've got worse problems, let me tell you. So how are you doing, sweetie?
Happy, busy, all in the good ways that you would want.
Oh, good. Uh-oh, you're turning
What
upside
the
down.
hell
Are you
is
there?
going on?
Wow, did you see
I'm not
that?
touching anything.
Is that you, Eric?
I've never seen that
crazy
happen.
stuff with the video? Making it turn, revolve? I was not touching it either. That's weird. Was that you, Eric?
He said yes, but my screen is not like our traditional Facebook screen.
I know.
It's different.
Yeah.
You changed my settings?
Mine was like the whole thing was twirling.
Twirling.
That's
so was
weird.
mine.
I've never seen that happen. Okay, Eric, be good. Please.
Yeah, step
I can't
aside.
blame Bella, my little Yorkie, because she's on the other side of the desk. All right, we're going to talk about your favorite subject, Lucas. Oh my God, I'm thinking of your brother. By the way, it's your brother's birthday. Shout out to Lucas, 23 years old.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, he's singing still.
And we're going to talk about your favorite subject, and that is women. You've always loved women. When you were just little, 4 years old, you'd go and up to the complete strangers and tell them what a beautiful dress and how lovely their hair was and everything.
You did? He said yes, I was a perfect little gentleman.
You were, really. And you asked Miss Kane, your preschool teacher, to marry you. Didn't work out. Remember that?
Do you hear all of that?
Oh, that's Bella. She's licking my paper. It's probably that. Okay, Bella, get down.
I was like, I'm not touching anything. I don't know where this
we can blame Bella for that. Okay, well, we're going to talk about women. And the first thing I want to know, sweetie, is the cardinal differences between a male spirit and a female spirit. Or let's put it this way, somebody who chooses to come in as a woman versus a man.
He said, well, I'm taking your first question, whether you like it or not. The difference between a male energy and a female energy. He says, if we're looking at soul-wise, he says, I'm going to have to give that a big fat 0. Because the energy, the soul is all the same, but it's the perspective on it that's different. Like, both parties love, both parties care, both parties can be angry and aggressive. He's like, that energy is fuel, and the fuel is all the same, but, you buy different cars, you buy different makes and models of the car, and he says that's pretty much what happens with the physical bodies. So we get these bodies that are like the cars. Now he's saying trucks, SUV, like he doesn't want to leave anybody behind. Some of them are like motorcycles. He goes, but we can get into that later. He thinks all the ADHD, authentically ADHD people are motorcycle make and models because they go so fast they don't really hang on to one thing or one topic. But the soul is all the same. Okay. Now, when we pick to be a man or a woman, we're picking, is that a word? Societal? Societal roles. He goes, now you're the one looking stupid, Jamie.
Uh-oh.
Thanks, Erik.
We take turns. We take turns at that.
Societal roles. And when we take that energy and put it into the man, then we're looking at right now in our culture a position of empowerment. Someone who already is born with the instinct in their own culture. Their culture sets it up that if you're a boy, there's certain expectations from you. He said, so that grooms the energy, how it's used, and how the body is made grooms how the energy is used. And he said, so let's say if the body was made with particular chemical issues, such as bipolar, or born with early onset of some kind of disease, he says that changes how the fuel is used, changes how the soul is using its energy. He says, so there's different influences. And then as the person, male or female, gets older and they start to have independent thought, needs, and wants, then that's a third way that the soul is being, he wants to use the word manipulated, but then he was like, I think some people might see that as a negative in
connotation.
Thank you.
Okay.
He's like mumbling and going
choose our own
fast.
words. Choose our own words.
It's doing that thing again. Okay. So those are the three ways that the soul is adapted to fit our needs. But if we look at soul, a standalone, it possesses all the traits, all that is, everything. We're the ones that change it and use it to meet our needs.
Okay. Well, we obviously choose our gender. Why do people choose to be? Why do women choose to come in as females? Why do some spirits?
He said for different reasons, Mom. We have to look at where.
Well, just give me some, maybe
where
some of the main
on
ones.
earth are they incarnating? He goes, because that's a huge difference. Because some women, aren't seen as having any rights. So if you want to learn perseverance or how to be dominated or how to follow the rules, I got some places you can incarnate to. But in some places, women are seen as the it thing. There's matriarchal tribes. They're the rulers. They're the ones who give life and they're honored. So if you want that kind of life, then I know where you can incarnate. He goes, but in general, we already have definitions of women. They're care providers. They're more sensitive. They're more wired to emotions. And if you're looking for a life experience that requires to be wired more to emotions rather than logic, being a woman is much easier because your culture has that expectation of you. It doesn't mean that it's easier because of the quality of soul that you're going to get. It's really the perception of what is around you. That's like saying, I want to be a sunflower, but I'm going to go to a dark planet. Like, that's fucked up because you're not going to have a sun. You're not going to grow. Your environment has influences on you. Ding. Next.
Okay. Now,
he said, or let's get deeper.
Well, we could get deeper, but, let me ask you, we seem like we had more matriarchal societies before, and then it's changed to patriarchal. What will it be like in the future? I know you'll have pockets of both, but,
Down with the men.
Aw, poor guys. We never give them a break.
He said it is going to change. It's going to go back to matriarchal. He said what we're finding now is a balance. And he says, and this is what happened. Women were in control, and then they started making their way, and then it got balanced, and then men decided, hey, it's our turn. And they've had it longer than the women have had it. So now it's going to be overthrown again. We're going to find this equality. He says that's what's happening now. All this equality. And then we're going to notice that the women are naturally better organizers. They are naturally, the way that their female human bodies are made, they can multitask. They're hardwired for specific tasks. Their energy isn't, but their bodies are. And he said, and we're going to honor that and let them have a go at being in control again.
Right. We're going to run with it, too. Do you see any benefits or drawbacks in having a matriarchal society?
He says everybody will get maternity leave. lots of benefits, especially in government care and more understanding of communication rather than dictation. Women are hardwired for that.
So communicating instead of dictating.
Yes.
Are you talking about like diplomacy versus creating rules and regulations?
He was like waiting for you to finish. Mm-hmm. This one.
And?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
He said, women are also easier to change. They're quick to change. You know, think about it. They're in history hardwired to be the care provider of the child. Child's needs change constantly.
So they have to be able to.
Yes. Yeah. So when they see that education system needs to change, they're going to look at it and decide this happens now, not when could we possibly do this? It has to happen now.
That's good.
So there's a lot of benefits to that.
So they're more proactive.
Yes. Because I really can't see a negative throw here, except maybe that the masculinity part of our culture will want to be more honored, and they will see it as more of a community rather than separatism, and some people won't enjoy that.
Oh, well, if we all sync up our periods, then it'll be bad. That could be bad. That could be pretty serious. All the female leaders PMSing at once. World War III.
1 week out of the month.
That'll be World War III right there. Well, they all go into menopause at once. I don't know why I went there. I really don't. Maybe another sip of coffee will help. All right. So, what lessons are learned?
You know, like a bottle of bourbon.
Huh?
He says your coffee mug looks like a bottle of bourbon. Like it's like this big.
I like it. It's pretty. Anyway, enough of that commercial. You know, some people come into life to be sexually abused or raped. Why? What lessons could be learned or taught? Or what would a woman be teaching or learning from having that experience? Why do women choose that? Some women.
He goes, okay, let me stop you there. He goes, men are raped too.
Okay, but this is only about women. You guys have your turn some other time. Now, they're talking about girly girls right now.
He goes, okay, just give them a shout out right there.
I know, that's true. They're abused, yep.
Yes. What can be learned from rape? And he said it, and looking at that as you're being the recipient of it, not the giver. He's laying out pictures in my head. Told him it's much easier if you just talk. He goes, the more obvious one is that what people have a hard time understanding is that it is a lesson of setting awareness and boundaries. He goes, now, this is going to spark some conversation because I want to talk about women who are cognizant and in control over themselves. He goes, I'm not talking about a 4-year-old girl.
No.
You know, who's still under the care or provision of adult eyes. He said, so I am talking about those who are in control over themselves. Okay. And he said, so that is a lot about boundaries, but it's also fed in a lot about honesty. Because a lot of rape situations happen because the woman is presenting one way of communication, whether it's heavy flirtation, whether it's making promises and not following through, and there's poor communication and the man is frustrated, so the man just takes what he thinks he's been promised. So, yes, we want women to be exactly who they want to be, and everybody should be respectful of somebody else, but they need to understand that if they're stepping into this kind of flirtation and offering, but still needing boundaries set, that they have to set the boundaries. They can't just throw out and expect the man to say, oh, such a shame, you're saying all of this, but you're not going to do any of it. No, if they're hearing it, they're in it, and they want to receive it.
So you can flirt, but you have to set your boundaries too. But, I mean, a lot of rape is not like that. You know, a lot of people break into the homes and rape, etc.
He says, but there's more date rape than
Oh, yeah,
breaking into homes and raping.
that's true.
He said, so the bulk of it is not necessarily always on the man. The woman is giving some element to it. And I'm not saying that everybody needs to dress different and behave differently. It's just, if you're presenting that, own it, get in control over it, and make it powerful with boundaries in place. Don't play the game and then not know how to stop a follow through.
Yeah.
So, honesty, clear communication, boundaries. Then we're talking about when somebody is breaking into the home and that the woman really had no interaction or advance notice of what's street or, picked up somewhere. What the hell was that?
I don't know. Something weird happened.
I swear to you, you turned into a man with gray hair.
Oh my God! Seriously?
I'm not
We'll see if
making
that
this up.
shows up on the. Well, what's that all about? Because my picture did change. I saw in the corner of my eye, but I didn't really see. But wow. So what was that about, Erik?
Man. I'm asking him, I was like, are we getting interference? Is it because, it's raining outside? Or no, he keeps throwing off. No, I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you.
Oh my God,
Like, this is
so
fun.
funny.
He's like in the conversation.
I gotta go back and see that later. That's cool.
I hope it recorded on your side.
Yeah, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I think it just blinked, but we'll see. All right, so so somebody breaks in, don't have advance notice, not been flirted.
Right, having an experience of this nature being taken advantage of or seen as a victim gives opportunity for perseverance, loving oneself, forgiveness, and knowing where to place responsibility and knowing. He said, here's a catchy one: knowing how to love those that you don't approve over.
Wait, are you talking about forgiving the rapist?
Yeah.
Or forgiving yourself for some reason?
Oh, it's both.
Okay.
It's both. Well, most women think that if it's happening to them, they obviously contributed to it when, they weren't even around the person, but maybe they forgot to lock their window. Maybe they weren't aware at the store that the guy was following them and they could have done something. You guys overthink things quite a bit. I'm not going to argue on that one. The other thing was to understand. Yeah, he's thinking before he wants to say this, but it's to understand sex or understand sexual relation, understand the sex of the body, that women idolize it as being something of sacred nature, something that shouldn't be abused, looked at as kinky, like it's very well, sex is seen as being very private, and being able to identify. He's like, I'm not really asking that they understand it, but some cases, this is what helps, or this is the lesson that comes about, is that they learn that for some people, sex is a release, it's a tool, it's not seen as an intimate love moment. It's it kind of breaks down the boundaries of person to person connection or physical connection. He says sometimes that is learned in those situations, but most of all, it's forgiveness, loving your enemies, and not being a victim. I wish that we had. I wish that we had 3 or 4 different stories about it so that we could look at what was going on in the woman's life. Because any lesson that you learn, it's going to be fit in to those relationships that she has currently in her life.
True.
It could be that her father died young and she didn't know how to have a relationship with men, and then this happens, and then it's supposed to, just break down everything understanding wise that she has about men so that she could really build a relationship. Or maybe she designed it that she wanted to be a nun, and this was like the way to, hit the high road and never be married and sustain herself. And he says there's just so many ways to use fuel, Mom. It's
sure.
not just about to go to the car. I mean, we could use it for...
What advice can you tell those who have been raped? How can they heal?
Here's, I'm definitely not going to sit here and tell you. Time heals everything. He said because with traumatic incidences, whether it's rape, a car accident, murder, being mugged, with traumatic incidences, our mind pockets the memories and they could just be unveiled at any given moment. Our mind has all those kind of mystery hidden spaces. So sometimes that whole thing where time heals, no, time creates a distance, but it doesn't necessarily heal it.
That's true.
The healing part comes from embracing it, studying it, looking at it, not burying it, and not disconnecting to it, because everything that occurs with you, to you, in your life belongs to you, and it's part of your foundation. He said, my throat is tickling, all of a sudden that even in culture with suicide, it's a term that's not talked about. Rape, something that's not talked about. It's, as some people say, disgusting. They don't know how to relate to it. They don't know how to have a conversation about it. And I would hope that these things would come to light even more so that people who have had these experiences or these thoughts, that they can discuss it and see why is it there and what energy does it really need. Because it might not need what you think it does, and it might be able to be healed just by conversing about it and giving it a healthy place to be, rather than not talking about it, being embarrassed by it, playing a victim from it.
Yeah,
because those things aren't needed.
So kind of look at the study and see what you can learn from it, whether it's about emotional honesty or boundaries or forgiveness or whatever. Just really reflect on the value. I mean, there's got to be some value in everything, including
there is value
these
in everything,
negative
Mom.
experiences.
There's total value in everything,
So
even all the things, like you said, that we call negative.
Yeah.
And he goes, there's purpose in every single thing. He goes, I wish in our culture we could just kind of unzip that shit that makes us say, oh, it's negative, so I don't want to associate it to it. I'm just going to put it in this bag and close it. I'm just going to put it in this bag and close it, put it away, put it away, put it away. When there's so much value to what's in there. Just let it exist. Let everything be and unfold as it needs.
Okay. Well, this is kind of a long video. I really wanted to go into why women in some cultures, like the Muslim culture, allow oppression and injustice, like Sharia law, for example, some components of that. But can you give me the short version? Because I don't know if people can keep their attention for this long. With Erik, they can.
Quick, pause the video. Go pee. Go get something to eat. Come back, he says.
Yeah, there we go. Go pee, everybody. Come back later.
Suppression, he says, most of that is about following rules, about not having an opinion, not having a right, about being able to persevere by being in a box. It's almost like being a monk and taking a vow of silence your whole life. I mean, you don't get the opportunity to flower and be a voice. And he says there's value in that. People don't want to see that. They want to fight for freedom for everybody, but
what's the value?
Choosing to learning more about one's self, he says, deeper core soul value. He says, have you gotten into moments, and this is for anybody who's watching, have you ever gotten into a moment where you feel like you just weren't yourself, like you weren't your natural character, you were a little bit more zone, a little bit more quiet, or some people say a little bit more zen, and you're able to see people in different colors and different light and different situation? He says, imagine having a whole life of that. Imagine the connection that you find with dirt, with rocks, with Mother Earth, with fabric, with touch. All the other senses are heightened. There's a deeper community with the people who you are allowed to communicate with. There's a certain richness to it that you can't find if you're just the free person out there doing whatever the hell you want.
Wow. That's pretty heavy. Dang.
He says, well, I'm not praising it, and I'm not saying it's wrong.
No, but so, this oppression, but also a lot of the sexual abuse seems to be so rampant in the world now, especially like in Africa and the Middle East. What direction should we as a collective, we as humanity take? What can we do, if anything? And that's my last question.
He said it's not going rampant. It's been rampant from day one. Just because we have more media outlets and more tweets about it and stuff, it's because people harp on the negative shit to get people to pay attention. It's just how we're hardwired. It has been the same from then to now. It's not getting worse. It's not getting better. It's built in that this is how some cultures react or show power or show control. And this is why matriarchy is going to rise and patriarchy is going to sink, because we're going to be able to teach the importance of person-to-person value, equality. He says it's not about just women's rights. It's about everybody's rights. That's how women work. That's why they're different.
Every living creature. Well, what as humanity should we do, as a collective?
He just got really close to me. He goes, only vote for women.
I think I might. Okay. Anything else on this subject? Anything else on this subject?
No, this is entertaining.
This has been fun. All right. Okay. You guys, there's some stuff that little signs, little messages at the end of this video. Please be sure you take a look at that, especially the one that says like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe.
Subscribe.
Right. And
Erik says subscribe and I'll come haunt you.
Yes, and he will. He will. But in a nice way. And I'll put up Jamie's site, and you guys know that Erik's site is Channeling Erik with AK. Later, people. Bye.